This final lecture is about our last of the homegrown American religions of Christianity. Not unlike the founding of the Seventh-day Adventists that we've already discussed, and its leader, William Miller, who had new ideas of how to interpret the Bible, and not unlike Joseph Smith, who said, I have a book that predates the Bible. So also in the late 19th century came Charles Taze Russell. He was a minister living in the Pennsylvania area, somewhere on the East Coast, I believe. I think also his beginnings were Presbyterian. But he also came to believe that, again, people were misreading the Bible, and that he had what he claimed to be a true translation of the Bible. It was called the New Word Translation. And incidentally, if you see the guys on campus handing out Bibles and open it up and see New Word Translation, you know that they're Jehovah's Witnesses. It'll be published by the Watchtower. We'll get to that. So one of the things that Charles Taze Russell did initially is that he formed a very tight group of high-performing Bible scholars. They had a Bible study, and they met together. Later called themselves the Watchtower Society, or even later, the Council of 12. And in this high-impact Bible study, they declared that Christianity had said some things wrong, and they started to publish this through their publishing house called the Watchtower Publishing Society. One of the earliest things they declared is that we have gotten the name of God wrong. God's name is Jehovah. I know all of you who watched my lecture way back about Exodus, where we learned that in Hebrew, God revealed his name to Moses as Yahweh. A Jehovah's Witness would say, no, from the burning bush, Moses did hear, phonated from the bush, the name Jehovah, even though it's an English name. They also declared that God is one, so Jehovah's Witnesses do not hold to the Trinity. And another interesting belief is, or unique belief, is that they hold to the literal 144,000 people only in the highest echelon of heaven. But the big idea of Jehovah's Witnesses, the one-sentence thesis, would simply be, if you are a Christian, a child of Jehovah, you are not of this kingdom. And you have to remember that. And that's how you go through life. So Jehovah's Witnesses are very separatist for those reasons. They're conscientious objectors. They will not vote in elections. Why would they? They're not of this kingdom. They will not stand for the national anthem, nor remove their hats for the playing of the national anthem, nor would they ever salute the American flag. They're not of this kingdom. They do not observe birthday parties. That's pagan. They would not go to a magic show. It's pagan. They would not host a graduation party for their child. It's not in the Bible. They do not hold to the festivals of Christmas or Easter, not because they don't believe in Christ's birth and resurrection, but because they think those dates are artificial and that they have roots in paganism that Christians kind of took over. They're not of this kingdom. That's right there on their church sign. It's not called Jehovah's Witness Church. It's called Kingdom Halls. You'll see them all over town. This is a constant reminder that they are of Jehovah's kingdom, not of this one. For those separatist leanings, they also sometimes, some groups will strictly limit their contact with non-Jehovah's Witnesses or the pagan world, and only confront them in pairs with the door-to-door mission work that they will do. The other two more things about Jehovah's Witnesses. The other interesting thing that I find extremely clever or ingenious, I guess, is that the way they keep the group together is that when they go to their kingdom hall for worship, there is no clergy. There will be local leaders, elders, but what they will do is every kingdom hall will receive the same message via a newsletter or probably now an email that says, here's the teaching this week, and here's the printed sermon or explanation, so that all Jehovah's Witnesses all over the world will hear the same message and the same interpretation. Why do I find this ingenious? Well, think about it. Let's say you're Roman Catholic and you spin the wheel and you go to a particular parish on Sunday. You're going to hear that priest's homily that will be unique just for those that are assembled there. You can go down the street to another mass and hear another priest on the very same day, the very same denomination, Roman Catholic, and that priest will preach an entirely different homily, perhaps even on a different text than what the other Roman Catholics up the street just heard, right? Not so in Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls, you see. They all hear the same message, regardless of what Kingdom Hall they chose to attend for a worship service. And then finally, as Jehovah's Witnesses read their Bible in the New Word Translation, they're very clear that as they read the Old Testament, that Jehovah's symbol or Jehovah's essence, the way Jehovah's gives life, is always expressed in the Old Testament as a giving of blood. So blood for the Jehovah's Witnesses is life, and life is only Jehovah's to give or to take. So Jehovah's Witnesses are the denominations that will not allow blood transfusions. Now, it used to be that they would also say that for their children, for minors. I believe today that has been taken to court, and the court will declare now over the objection of the parents that because this child is a minor, if it could save their life by a simple blood transfusion, it must be done. But once a person becomes of legal age and can make their own medical decisions, there's no law in America that says you have to have any procedure just because it exists. You can make your own choices. And so those Jehovah's Witnesses of legal age will choose no blood transfusions for theological reasons, that blood is life, and life is only Jehovah's to give or to take. One of my more interesting encounters with Jehovah's Witnesses happened to me personally in Minnesota when my barber turned out to be a Jehovah's Witness. Great guy, love him, named Tom Ford. He knew how to cut blonde hair. And inevitably, as he was cutting, we would talk, and I would say, well, I'm a religion professor. And he said, well, I'm an elder in my Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. And I said, Tom, this is fantastic, because at my church right now, we're doing an adult education series of kind of meet your neighbor, right? We were going to bring in a real live Roman Catholic that we could see and touch and talk to, and then a Lutheran, and then a Baptist, and all these different faith traditions. And I said, Tom, you can be our token Jehovah's Witness. And he said, right there, he said, I may not do that. I said, Tom, why not? And he said, because I may not enter any other building for worship other than a Kingdom Hall. That's my belief. I said, Tom, come on, it's me. And it's adult education. I'm not asking you to come to a worship service. He said, well, let me go talk to my council of elders, and I'll see what we can do. So at my next haircut, Tom said, good news, bad news. I talked to my elders. Here's the deal. What time is your adult education session? I said 9:15. He said, what time is worship? I said 10:30. He said, here's the deal. I will come to your church at 9:15 only to talk to your adult education group. If you promise not to start worship until the wheels of my car are off the parking lot. I said, okay, Tom, we can do that. And then he said, secondly, I will not take any questions. I said, okay. So Tom, our Jehovah's Witness, who I love, great friend, was able to come to our church. He gave a spiel about Jehovah's Witnesses, that we were using the wrong Bible translation, the wrong name of God, that we were heretics, we believed in the Trinity, that there would be more than 144,000 people in heaven, the whole thing. When he was done, he closed his notes and walked out the door. No questions. He was done at about 10:10, and then we all went to the sanctuary and started worship. So that's Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm not throwing him under the bus, you see. I respect his convictions. I'm just sharing this story to say so that you understand, as all faith practitioners, right, their practice is always informed by a theology. And so the Jehovah's Witness theology, you see, informed what he could and could not do on that day and what he told us. So those are Jehovah's Witnesses. The big idea, again, is that a Jehovah's Witness is not of this kingdom. So they tend to be separatist. They worship in kingdom halls. They will not participate in anything deemed to be of pagan origin or a pagan association. And only Jehovah can give or take life. So therefore, blood is life. And so no blood transfusions. And then, as I said, the peculiar theological interpretation would be only the New Word Translation of Charles Russell is coherent and inspired. No Trinity, literal 144,000 in heaven, and a whole lot of other nuances that we don't have time to go into. And then that they keep the whole group together because they all receive the same interpretation, my word, sermon or homily, every week via a universal newsletter or email blast that they all have, because there's no clergy. It all comes from the Watchtower Society in New York. There's a handout that's going to review all of this. I know it went fast. The handout review will help. And I hope you enjoyed the introduction to Jehovah's Witnesses.